Hey guys, it's Tana. Welcome back to my channel and another video for the Not2Shabby shop. Today I'm going to be playing with the Painted Poppies stamp set by MFT. And everything I remembered to label will be labeled right there on the screen for you. So first I'm going to do some watercoloring. I want to stamp over it, so I'm just going to mess with colors that match my leaves and then my flowers. And as you can see, or as you will see, I did a lot of panels. I tend to do this. It's a bad habit of mine. I have an idea for a card, and I don't want to choose a color scheme. So then I make a whole bunch of panels. And then I cut them all out. So that takes me extra time. And then I try to decide. I have too many choices when it comes down to it. So I got to really learn to scale down to only using one thing. So I'm only going to show you one choice today for one card. And then for my second video this month, I'll show you the result of the rest of the cards before we get into the video for that day. So while you're watching me do this, oh, by the way, I tried doing wet to dry, dry watercolor paper. And I liked the way it spread better for the look I was going for by squirting down the watercolor paper before I started putting down color. And moving on. I showed you the Prima metallic pastel watercolors. And then I'm using the metallic Ganze Tambi. And then the blues and purples were also Ganze Tambi. I'm hiding out in the car, which has been par for the course lately for voiceovers, especially with everybody being home all the time. But it is 30 degrees here, people. I had an ice warning on my car when I turned it on today. I went into the grocery store, I came out of the grocery store, and there was snow on the ground and snow on the car. More like icy snow. But this is ridiculous. I have never, in my entire life in Buffalo, at least that I can remember, have had snow stick in May. I don't even remember it snowing in May. So this purple and blue panel, this was my favorite panel out of the watercolor panels that I did. And then after this one, I'm going to show you real quick. I did one red and two green panels with shimmer powders. And you can skip ahead if you want. I did not remember to put a time up for you guys to skip ahead, but this was the main part of the card. So I couldn't really see you guys wanting to skip ahead for this part. This Catherine Wheel Shimmer Powder by Nuvo, I love this stuff. I don't know how they made it work with the reds and the yellows and the pinks, but it's one of my favorites. And I'm not even a red lover. I am not a lover of the color red. I don't know why. It's one of my least favorite colors. I do, however, like this combination of the Solar Flare and the lemon or blue blitz, and that other one is the other pale yellow is Sunray Crosset. I think I'm saying it correctly, but that one I didn't end up using again because it had a little bit of like a red tinge to it, and it was ruining the blue, yellow, green combo that I was going for foliage for leaves. So I kind of went over that panel again without that lighter yellow. And I always love playing with shimmer powders. They're just really fun to play with. In the beginning, you saw me use 3 different kinds of watercolor paper. That was solely for the purpose of I wanted to see how each one worked for what I was going for. I'm still learning when it comes to using watercolors or things that can be turned into watercolors like shimmer powders. So I was like kind of testing out the 3 different watercolor papers that I have. So now we're moving on to the stamping. And I'm powdering these up really good first because I'm going to cover all of them with clear embossing powder after I stamp them. Now this one, these leaves and stems, I used, I think it's Gumdrop Green. It's an MFT ink that I just received as a free gift from Jamie at the Not2Shabby shop when I placed an order. And then on this one here, I used a metallic gold ink. And I'll list everything that I can remember down below, but I'm still having an issue with my links. So more than likely, I'm only going to name a couple of the main things, and anything else that you guys want a link for, you can just let me know in the comments, and I will get back to you with a link if it's available. Now this little stencil here, I made this myself. Way back when there was a company, the only company that I knew of anyway, that had stencils like this. And I was like, well, I'm not going to buy that. I'm just going to make it with my dies. So, but you will see coming up soon, very soon, that I did end up ordering stencils very much like this. So I'm setting up another little scene here. And no, it's not a different card. This is for the card that I just did all that work for. Kind of seems like double work, doesn't it? So I'm stamping these out and I'm masking. But this little circle of flowers and leaves is going to remain gray and white. And that may look black to you guys, but I'm actually using VersaFine Clair. I think it's Morning Mist, Gray Mist. It's the gray, and I'll have it down below. But it's so dark because I had to stamp it more than once that it doesn't really look like gray anymore. And now I'm going to show you here. If you can't get your little skinny flower stems to stay straight, so you can close your misty door on them, do what I did here. I put another stem on the outside of the door where I wanted the stem to be. And then I opened my door and placed the stem that's actually going onto the flower, following the one I put on the outside of the door, and then I took the other one off the door. It actually worked quite well, and I don't know why I never thought of it sooner. So there's the unveiling of the masks. And now we're going to use the opposite part of the stencil I made and cover up those flowers. I couldn't use any tape here because it would have totally ruined this brick stencil that I'm about to ink on. So I'm using Twilight Gray by Catherine Pooler. I'm having a brain fart today, guys. I can't remember the names of anything. And I'm just ink blending that on. And I'm not trying to be even about it. I'm not trying to make sure it's all got the same saturation of color. I want it to look like some spots are lighter and some spots are darker. And I love the way this turned out. I think this turned out super cool. I wasn't so sure about it when I chose the stencil, but I love the way this looks. And now I'm going to use my blue obsidian tonic mirrored cardstock, and I cut out a circle with my Hero Arts Circle Infinity dies that match the size of that circle on the card front. And then I'm using the MFT Thanks die, and this is an old one. I don't know if they still have it. I did 4 layers of 100-pound cardstock behind that the blue letters. And now I'm going to put a piece of acetate behind my little blue circle frame there. And then I'm going to trim around that so you can't see acetate around the outside after the glue dries. I always feel bad for taking a drink when I'm doing a voiceover because I know you guys can hear it, but my throat gets so dry. So now we're going to glue that panel right onto our card base, which is a steel gray card base, 100-pound cardstock from MFT. And now I'll pop up the circle with a double layer of the cheap Amazon foam tape that I buy. But I'm going to glue that on there to make sure it stays. I tried to do this where it was all one piece around that circle, but the circle was just too thin and the piece was too long, so I had to cut it into pieces and just place it around the inside of the circle edge there. And then I put glue on top of that so I can glue it to the card front itself. Can you guess which color I chose, guys, out of all those panels I did? The blue and purple. I love the way these flowers turned out once they were stamped. I'm just gluing my letters on here real quick. And then we're going to glue the flowers and leaves on over the images. Not all of them. I do just the tall, skinny flower, and then some of the leaves that stick up out of the bottom of the circle. And I just think this looks really cool. And then the rest of them behind there will remain black and white. And then we got some leaves that come up the sides from the bottom, on the bottom right. And then to cover up those stems where they all meet, I use a little yellow iridescent bubble from Queen & Company. They were actually sent to me by a friend in a Happy Mail card recently. And I just love them. I love the color it brings to the blue and purple too. At first I was going to use those amethyst squares from Nuvo, but I decided to go with that little iridescent bubble. So here's the pictures. Don't forget to look for the coupon code down below. And shop Jamie Shop. Some restrictions apply. And we will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye for now.